Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Opinion Machine, the show where we talk about all things gaming. My name is Killjoy, and today we're going to talk about the good and the bad of Mario Kart World. I almost called it Mario Kart 8 then. Mario Kart World. Played it for about 4-5 days straight now. Put quite a bit of time into it already, and I think I want to kind of give you the lowdown on how I'm feeling about this game, and what I think is good about it, what I think is bad, and some stuff that's also kind of neutral on it, which will depend on the individual person. Let's start with like one of the big additions, which is free roam. So I can talk about free roam and gameplay. Just playing as Yoshi here. Free roam is a awesome addition, right? It lets you go around. It's got these P-switches here that you do missions. You get to drive around the world. You get to learn the tracks. You get to listen to an awesome soundtrack, which we'll come back to in a bit. But the game essentially just opens up to you. You can learn to do whatever you want, really. You can just practice the tracks. You can... Oh, there's a question mark on that wall. You can practice the tracks. You can explore shortcuts. You can do many things. And free roam is what I would consider a fairly good addition to what is a very solid game, to be honest. What's cool about it is that I can drive around here. Like I said, I can learn the different tracks. I can practice things. I can look for secrets. And do stuff like this. Get to places where I wouldn't normally get to. And it just opens up. It allows you as the player to kind of explore and do your own expressions of things on the tracks. And that's really cool. I think that's something that is like incredibly awesome for a game like this, to have a open world essentially and allow the player to basically be like, hey, you know what? I do want to just have a more chill time, because the game itself is very intense, and we'll get to that. Ooh, there's a pipe there. It's very intense indeed. And so, you know, having a mode where you don't really have to... There's challenges and stuff, there's things to look for, but I can just drive around at my own leisure, practice things, find shortcuts, figure out what's like in places, break things as well. It's always good. And this is probably one of those modes where some people will probably spend a lot of time, and I think some people probably won't spend much time at all. For me, I kind of like doing it. I think it breaks up the action. I've played the races a lot at this point, so having something else to do isn't necessarily a bad thing. And it just allows me to do that. So I think this is one of those modes that you're probably going to find a lot of people will enjoy. And it does add to the longevity of the game. This is one of those things I think Nintendo is kind of banking on being one of the big parts of the game in general. And I think a lot of people will get a ton of fun out of it. It's just something about driving in this game. It gives me a chance to talk about gameplay as well. The gameplay in this game does feel... Ooh, there's 3 different P-switches. What the hell? The game does feel incredibly fun to play. Oh, yeah, look at that. Off Toad's head. There's a charm to this game that I think was much needed. Oh, no! I'll get back up there. Yeah, it's a charm that is much needed for Mario Kart, really. You need it to feel fun, addictive to play. You know, just having a grand old time with it. How do I get back up there is the question. Do I get up there this way? And I think they've done and in that sense, I think they've done a phenomenal job. And I've just messed up that one. But if we quit out of this, just so I can give you an example of somewhere else, you can also go to the map with free roam, and you can kind of just have a look anywhere on the map. And this is a good map because at least it gives you some information that's useful. On the bottom left corner, you'll see that it's got how many P-switches I've done, how many question blocks I found, and then how many peach coins, which is not many. Currently playing as Yoshi, and we're in Shy Guy Bazaar. I can flip to any of these characters I want at any time, and I can also just go to any level I want at any time. So let's say I want to go to Cheap Fools, I can just hit that, begin free roam, and I'll be there playing as Yoshi. If I want to switch character, I can do that also. I can just hit change character here and go, and let's say I want to be Waluigi in this rather pro racer outfit. In the pipe car, we're good. Now boom. And it's all very snappy and very fast, and there we go. So free roam is definitely one of the positives about this game. I think a lot of people are just going to have a blast being able to admire. There's so much detail you can just kind of enjoy when you're not having to like race, which just makes you enjoy the game, which is the actual thing. And it is like its own little single player mode with challenges and stuff like that, right? So that's one thing. Right, so that's free roam mode. Let's talk about some other stuff. let's talk about probably one of the most important things in the game is the modes that you actually are going to be playing. Grand Prix, Knockout Tour, there's Time Trial versus Race and Battle. Off the bat, I'm going to say this. Battle mode feels really underbaked. It feels like it was in Mario Kart 8 base game rather than Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I don't think battle mode's been very good for a very long time. I personally wouldn't waste my time with this. Versus mode, we'll come back to this, but this is probably where I'm going to spend most of my time going forward. Time Trial is Time Trial. It's what it is. It's doing the lap stuff. It's always good. Knockout Tour and Grand Prix. Let's start with Grand Prix because there's two things that I think that are really important about Grand Prix that we can talk about here. Talk about well, we've got to go through these screens. Characters. There is a lot of characters, as you can see here. A lot of these have costumes. Obviously, you've got your standard characters. You've got a lot of these creatures that you unlock as well, like Spike, Sidestepper, Cataquack, Pianta, all this sort of stuff. There's a lot of choice. And then a lot of the costume characters that you see here as well. And I've still got quite a few to get. So there's a lot of fun to be had here. I think it's quite like that Yoshi one's cute and a food slinger. There's a DK one of all terrain. There's Luigi all terrain. There's like a really good mix of them. I assume a lot of these costumes probably come from Tour, but characters and costumes, there's fun. You can play as a penguin. What's not to like? There's Mario as an aviator. Waluigi as a biker. Wario as a biker. There's just a lot of stuff. The cow, the classic meme now of that. But yeah, so there's a ton of fun to be had with the character customization in terms of what you can unlock, right? Then there's the carts. Now I unlocked the carts pretty quickly. There is a lot here, but I was a little bit disappointed to see that there wasn't more. A lot of these trikes as well. They're like I think the new thing. Like there is a lot of cool stuff here. There's a lot of fun designs. Hearing some classic and all. This dumper truck's one of my favorites, which we're going to use. But I will say I was a bit like, oh, you know, it'd be nicer to have some of the other carts. Hopefully that stuff gets added in. It's not really a bad thing or a good thing. It's just one of those sort of neutral things. So I think there is a good amount of carts. There is a good amount of characters. But that is going to come down to personal preference as to what you actually think is, if there is those things. Let's talk about the Grand Prix. Let's talk about the tracks, like in a briefish kind of way, because I think this is, in my opinion, most of the classic tracks in this game far outweigh the new ones. And that's because the old ones have had these big reimaginings. There's obviously a level of nostalgia there as well. And it kind of makes me go, okay, maybe these new tracks have been a little bit done dirty. And some of them have, and that's because of the way the Grand Prix set up. So let's talk about the tracks first, and then we'll come back to how Grand Prix works anyway. Mario Bros. Circuit is brand new. It is a track that is like your basic sort of standard track that you expect when you play a Mario Kart game. It is cool. It's cool in design. Nothing fancy about it. It's a good basic track. That's that. It's what it is. Crown City is actually okay, but Crown City is a track that gets completely done dirty in Grand Prix, where you have like one lap of it. I believe this track is one of those ones that has, it's kind of like a tour track where you have one lap is one way and another lap is that. It's a lot better when you do this as a free lap track, which is going to be a common recurrence for a lot of these. Whistle Stop Summit is actually kind of fun. That's the one that teaches you how to grind and do a lot of wall jumping. That's actually pretty decent for a new track. Nothing too fancy, but a lot of like alternate tracks to take, pardon the pun. DK Spaceport might be the best new track in the game. It is based on 25 meters from the original Donkey Kong. You drive up one side, you drive up the other. There's obstacles, there's flipping, there's wall jumping, there's barrels to avoid. Honestly, one of the best tracks in this game, by far. Then we come to the Flower Cup, which is all old tracks. Desert Hills from the DS, I believe. Shy Guy Bazaar is from Mario Kart 7. Wario Stadium from 64. And Airship Fortress is from DS. All of these tracks here are fantastic. Desert Hills has a reference to Super Mario Land, which I was not expecting, which is awesome. It's a really good rendition of the track. Shy Guy Bazaar is Shy Guy Bazaar. It was always been a decent track. It's a good track here. The detail on that is crazy. Wario Stadium is the best this track has ever been, bar none. Awesome track. And then Airship Fortress. Now, this particular Flower Cup is where I think Grand Prix really falls flat on its face. Shy Guy Bazaar, Wario Stadium, and Airship Fortress are much better as free lap tracks. However, you only do 3 laps on Desert Hills and you drive from track to track to track. And I think that's what kills a lot of the Grand Prix fun for me. It's not that the driving between tracks isn't fun. It's just Airship Fortress, you get there and it's over in literally like 20 seconds. It's not the longest of track. It's based on doing it multiple times that makes it fun. But these 4 tracks are some of the best in the game. Wario Stadium, honestly, is like, I never even liked that track in the N64 game because it was too long. In this, it is so well designed. Such a good, like, glow up. Fantastic. So these tracks, all of these, a lot of fun. Then we come to Star Cup. DK Pass, a really good track. Actually, one of the harder tracks in the game. A good remake from Mario Kart DS, I think it was originally in. So that's a pretty damn good track there. Starview Peak. Decent, kind of Rainbow Road-esque in look. It's a very wide track. It's okay. Like, I wouldn't say it's like amazing. It's fun to drive on, but it's nothing fancy about it. And then we have 2 more returning tracks. Sky High Sunday. I absolutely hate Sky High Sunday in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I think it looks bad. I think it is terrible. There's too many blind jumps. This version of it, on the other hand, is a lot better. This is a much better track. This track makes it a lot more fun to play on. You can see what you're doing. There's multiple routes. There's lots of grinding. There's wall riding. Awesome. And then there's Wario's Galleon. Again, a track that gets done dirty from having 1 lap. Awesome design. I believe this is also called Wario's Shipyard. I don't know if that's in America or some versions of the game. Fantastic track. So the 3 tracks out of this Star Cup are better than the new track itself. All of these, the 3 returning ones, just feel better to play on. Then we come to the Shell Cup. Koopa Troopa Beach, by far probably my favourite track in the entire game. It's 5 laps, it's short, it's manic, it's chaotic, it suits the game perfectly down to a T. Fantastic. Faraway Oasis, actually pretty good track, I do like that one. Crown City, which is different to... oh no, there is 2 Crown Cities. My bad, so there you go, that's why they're separated. So this Crown City is a different part of it. When you combine Crown City in Versus mode, you do all of it together. So Crown City 2, we'll call it, is much better. I didn't even realise that's where it went. Yeah, Crown City 2, much better than the first one, to be honest. When combined, very, very good. And then Peach Stadium, which is okay. Again, benefits from being more of a 3-lap track rather than just a 1-1. It's also kind of easy. And then we have Peach Beach. We're returning one from the GameCube game, Double Dash. Phenomenal. They've added a whole new area to this. Awesome, awesome track. Really, really good. Salty Speedway, also really good. It's a new track. Gives me tour vibes, but really well designed, going up canals around it. It's not the best of the new ones, but it is a lot of fun, and I do like it. Then we have Dino Jungle returning, which is probably one of the best glow-ups of any track in this entire game. Phenomenal. Another GameCube one. Awesome. Really like it. Just outshines many of the other new tracks. Great Question Block Ruins. Decent. Wouldn't say it's amazing, but it's fun. You kind of like go on it and you're like driving around and trying not to fall down things. You're bouncing on clouds. Pretty good. Cheap Falls. Great level. Looks really nice. Fun to play on. A bit more traditional. Really cool. Dandelion Depths is probably one of the most boring tracks in the entire game. I would say that's one of the weaker ones. There's nothing interesting about it at all. You go along a thing, then you go into a mine, and you come out of a mine, and you're done, basically. I do think that track kind of suffers from being really unremarkable. Boo Cinema, on the other hand, phenomenal. Very well designed track. You get to jump through a film. You're on film reel. Very cool design. One of the best Boo type tracks in the wild. And then there's Dry Bones Burnout as well, which I think is a little bit forgettable. It's fun to drive on. It's a challenging track. Doesn't really stand out in any way. She's starting to see a pattern that some of these new tracks aren't as impactful. Like, obviously they're new, so we've got to learn to get used to them. But I've driven on these tracks a good amount of times now, and the ones that are standing out to me, things like Boo Cinema and Cheap Fools, are significantly better than Dandelion Depths and Dry Bone Burnout. It's not that Dry Bones Burnout is a bad track, but it's nothing remarkable. It's better than Dandelion Depths for sure. Then we come to the Lightning Cup. We get Moo Moo Meadows, a classic. To be honest, doesn't feel that much different. The track is a bit different. Strange to see it this far. The difficulty spike on these tracks, by the way, non-existent. There's some harder tracks before. Like Moo Moo Meadows is one of the easiest tracks to get good at. Then there's Choco Mountain. And I'll be honest, Choco Mountain in this doesn't feel like Choco Mountain at all. I think this might be the worst track in the game. It's not that fun to drive on. It looks crap compared to the rest of it. It's just not very good. And I think it's just one of those tracks that's like, some people are going to like it because of nostalgia, but I just don't even think it's that recognizable being Choco Mountain. Toad Factory is cool to see that return. It's fun. It's Toad Factory. It's not really that much different from the original. And then Bowser's Castle. This is actually quite a fun Bowser's Castle. There's a lot of... The track is very wide to start with. And then you get inside the castle and you start like driving around. There's lava everywhere. Quite a tough track. Pretty decent. And then we get to the Special Cup, where you have Acorn Heights, which is good, but not the best kind of autumnal track, but I do like it. Then we have Mario Circuit, which I think some people are going to like this and some people aren't. I love this track based on the fact that the track itself is based on 3 of the 4 SNES Mario circuits, and it combines them together. It's by far, for me, nostalgia-wise, it's my favourite track in the game. This and Koopa Troopa Beach are just by far my favourite. Maybe not the most interesting tracks, but they give me the most, like, just joy driving on them. We have Peach Stadium again. When was the first time we had that? So there. So Peach Stadium is another one of those tracks I think that's broken up into different sections. Again, I don't really... Peach Stadium's alright. And then we have Rainbow Road. Now, Rainbow Road in this game is long. Like, very long. And Rainbow Road has a ton of Easter eggs to the SNES Rainbow Road. It has N64 references. The track is good. I can't say it's my favourite Rainbow Road, but I will say at least it's good. And that kind of... your mileage is going to vary. But I will say with the current amount of tracks in the game, I think there is kind of like each one of these cups has one track that's kind of like weaker than the rest. Like in this one it's Crown City, in this one it's probably... Actually, that's probably the one cup's probably the best of the lot. That one, Starview Peak, is probably the weakest. Crown City and Peach Stadium, not that strong. Probably Great Block Ruins, and that one it would be Dandelion Depths, Choco Mountain, and then Peach Stadium again. It's interesting what they've done with the tracks here. I do wish they didn't have the doubles up. Like it's cool, like the doubling of Peach Stadium and Crown City. I kind of think you needed to have extra tracks there, and maybe we'll see that as time goes on. But it's interesting seeing that they've actually gone back to that, because it's sort of the SNES game was when they kind of had that more doubling up of Mario circuits, Bowser circuits, stuff like that. But yeah, so the tracks is kind of going to vary on what you prefer. I think there is a good amount of tracks, but there's definitely some really bland ones in here, and a lot of the newer ones just don't feel that good. Which then brings on to the Grand Prix problem, is that it is fun to do a Grand Prix and start on one track and drive to the others, but that side of things gets boring very quick. And for the simple reason is that a lot of these tracks, as I said, get done dirty by not doing 3 laps on them, which is where Versus Race comes in. You get to do that. So that's kind of your own thought process on Grand Prix, like my thought process on Grand Prix, sorry, is that I like it. I do think from now on I'll be doing Versus Race because it will allow me to do laps of those tracks. Then there's Knockout Tour, like I said. Now, Knockout Tour is either you're going to love it or you're going to hate it. Some people are saying this is the best thing about it. This is where you have the 24 races and you go from place to place to place to place to place, and you essentially every ring knocks out 4 races until you get down to the top 4. I like it, but the thing is, I don't play Mario Kart to play the generic parts of the track. Now, as much as I like them, my issue is that this game thrives, and it's at its best when it's chaotic and the tracks aren't so open. In this particular style of race, the tracks are very open, and I think that it just can be sometimes a little bit boring. These aren't the most interesting things. The tracks themselves are still more interesting than the driving between them. And I do like the mode. I think the mode could probably be a lot of fun, but it's not something that I personally care for as much as I think other people care for. I am about the track racing. I am about doing the Grand Prix, doing the 3 laps and the stuff. I am a traditional person. I like that this is here, don't get me wrong, but this is, I think you're either going to really dig this or you're not going to dig it at all. I don't think there's much middle ground there. And there's a ton of these different ones that go from place to place to place to place, which can lead to some, it's fun. It is a fun mode. It's at points it just feels a little bit like you're driving just on generic parts of it, that's all. But I think some people are going to just like it and focus on the fact that it's a manic 24 player. One thing that's been going on in the background that you've probably been hearing is the music. I do want to say that the music in this game is an absolute winner. There are deep cuts in this game that I did not expect to hear. We've got Wario Land 1 music, we've got Super Mario Land 1 and 2 music, Mario Brothers 3 music, we've got music from across the series. There's like 200 plus tracks. The soundtrack to this game is phenomenal. Absolutely top tier, probably one of the best soundtracks I've heard all year. Even if it is a ton of remixes, it is incredible. I'm just blown away by how good that is. So that's mainly like, so the good parts of this game are your, let's go back to the menu a second. Your good parts of your game are your gameplay. The gameplay in this game in terms of driving and how it feels to drive. Right? Just driving around feels awesome. Like, honestly. Like, just being able to... Let's say some fish. Ah, we got Waluigi back. But just driving around feels good in this game. It feels fun to just, like I said, drive. If you feel like you got a lot of control, you got the extra jump. This is a new jump in the game. All of that stuff. Just, that's what you want from a Mario Kart. That's the most important part, right? So that. The music is something that is phenomenal. Eat some more fish. Yep. The modes. There's a decent amount of modes in here to keep you entertained for a little while. I will say battle mode is probably the weakest. And then there's also, like I said, free roam, which is what we're doing now. So there is all this stuff to do. The bad parts of this game are battle mode by far. Grand Prix is kind of disappointing that you can't toggle it. It needs a toggle. And obviously the price. Now, there is one other thing that I want to talk about, which is like balance of the game before we get to the price. So let's just do that quickly. We'll just quit free roam. I'm going to go to items and we're going to talk about balance, because this balance of this game is very different to the balance of Mario Kart, how Mario Kart 8 ended up. Now, this is your item list. There's a returning Mega Mushroom. There's a coin shell, which is new. There is the hammers that are new. There's the Kamek that's new. The food bag. The feathers I kind of returned here. We've got the ice flower in there as well. Coin block. And so you've got a good mix of items, right? The balance of this game is very different to Mario Kart 8 in the sense that Mario Kart 8 ended up in a place where you had a lot of invincibility frames when you would hit something. So let's say, for example, somebody hits me with a red shell. I have about 2 seconds maybe afterwards where I've been hit by that red shell where I can't be hit by anything. So, you know, you could tactically, in that game, somebody's fired a blue shell. There's a banana on the track. I'm going to hit the banana. You spin out. The blue shell hits you. Nothing happens. You're good. Fine. Well, in this game, they've kind of just gotten rid of most of your invincibility frames. It's very easy in this game to be green shelled, red shelled, blue shelled, green shelled, red shelled. And nothing you can do about it. Right? You can be like, first, get blue shelled, then someone will hit you with a red shell, then you might get smacked by a Starman, you might get run over, then a lightning bolt comes down. There is nothing you can do about any of this stuff unless you obviously have the defensible items. But if you're at a point where you have no items and you get smacked and you get hit like back into the middle of the pack, you are going to get absolutely destroyed. And that is going to lead to some significant frustration for some people. I definitely don't agree that the iframes in this game should be as little as they are. I think you should have, like, if you get red shelled and then you get blue shelled, you're getting hit by the red shell, you're then flying up in the air like the blue shell. There is no protection from that. And that is something that is kind of surprising that they've done that. Like, I understand maybe reducing the invincibility frames, because in Mario Kart 8 they are kind of a bit silly. But in this, it just feels like sometimes you just get what I like to call Mario Karted. You just can't do anything about it, and it's through no fault of your own, and that's where the frustration comes from. On the flip side, which makes this all the more weird, is that sometimes someone can be out in front, you'll hit them with a blue shell, and you'll still not catch up with them. Now, this might be an AI thing, because primarily I've played this with friends playing Grand Prix, but not like against a lot of players online. I've not really touched online. And the AI and sometimes will just get hit by stuff and just nothing happens, in the sense that they just don't seem to be able to catch up with them. And the game kind of decides this on a whim. There are times where I've been in 4th and I'm playing my best, I'm hitting all my boosts on the track, I'm getting mushrooms, I'm getting items. I just can't catch up. So I don't really understand the balance of this game, in the sense that, like, sometimes it feels like you get absolutely smashed because you've got no iframes, and other times you drive perfectly and you can never catch up. And I don't know why that is. It's very odd. It's obviously something that I am still getting used to. I can't really comment on whether that's good or bad. That's just what's happening. And it's definitely something that is frustrating to a degree, because it doesn't. It's no matter how well you do, it doesn't. The game can just decide, actually, yeah, we're not gonna make this easy for you, or like the AI is just gonna nail everything perfectly. And this is all on 150cc, by the way. Like, I only play 150cc. So it's a weird one. So if you do play this game, be prepared for that balance to be very odd. There's also more. The manual here is really cool. It tells you like techniques and how to do like the jump boosts and things like that. It's a cool little thing. You got items, you got rules, and you got free roam. Let's talk about price then. Is this game worth the price. So what have you got? So let's just look single player. We've got Grand Prix, Knockout Tour, Time Trial versus Battle, and Free Roam. Multiplayer, you've got up to 4 people. Whoops. Okay, and you can do the same things. Knockout Tour, Grand Prix, for all the same stuff. You have online play, you have wireless play. You have stickers, which are these unlockable challenges, basically. Like, you do these, you activate a panel, you clear the mission, different stuff. They all give you different things. I can see I've got loads of them. Absolutely loads of them. You can, like, choose the one you want, and I think it sticks onto the car somewhere. So they're like your achievements. Then you got the map, obviously the open worldness of it all, and then the rules. Is this game worth £75 and $80? In its current state, with average, like, some good new tracks, but most of them are fairly average, I don't think this game is worth the price, now having played it. Now, I obviously got the game with my Switch when I bought the bundle. And I do think that, like, you know, I can't lie, I had a great time playing this game. I think this game is really awesome. But right now, I think there are just better tracks. I think there are things like that in Mario Kart 8. I think having Knockout Tour being this idea that, oh, you know, you've got double the amount of stuff because you've got Knockout Tour. Like, yes, but Knockout Tour isn't tracks. Knockout Tour is just driving around the world in straight lines for the most part. Or across a big bridge. And either you're going to really like that, or you're not. And in my case, I would have rather seen a couple more cups. You know, tracks rather than just that sort of stuff. And that's, your mileage is going to vary, right? But, like, for me, I don't see how Nintendo thinks this game is worth that price of admission. In the long run, probably will be, because people will put a lot of time into it, right? Like, I will put a lot of time into it. If they're going to release more DLC and more tracks and things like that, I'm all for that. But to charge for this game, when the main meat of the game, most of your new tracks aren't even that great, like, and all your the classic tracks are fantastic. But, like, how can you justify that price? I mean, obviously they obviously think, you know, they're not set out to make a bad game. I'm not saying the devs have purposely made, like, bad tracks or anything. It's more the fact that they just don't have the same vibe to them like some of the other tracks do. And those classic ones that have been redone feel like such a glow up. It's like, wow, this is amazing. Like, you know, this is so cool. But as it stands, I just don't think the content's here yet. If you're umming and ahhing about the game and you're not sure on the price, I honestly would wait just a bit more time. See what post-launch content's coming. Because I imagine they're going to add more skins. I imagine they're going to add more, just about everything to the game. Like tracks, things like that. But we just need to see what happens. We need to see where they're going to go with that, when that's going to happen kind of thing. Because this game's going to get a lot of content, I think. Like, I can't see it not getting a lot of content. Ooh. But yeah, it's just something that you will have to make that decision for yourself. But I personally just think, you know what, Nintendo, I think you really should have put that price at your $70 in America or £60 or whatever it is over here, and not. Oh hey, you got one. And not charge for that, right? Like, I just don't think. I think some people are just going to be frustrated because some people aren't going to enjoy the free roam mode. They only want to play Grand Prix. Maybe £75 in the UK. Oh, there's the rewind function as well. Maybe that in the UK is good for some people because they like just go, hey, I just want to play Knockout Tour, and that's all I want to do. It's like, okay, fair enough. But it does feel overpriced. I can't deny that. So, anyway, this is my entire thoughts on this game. Like I can't deny that I'm not, I am obviously having fun, but please be aware that it's, as someone who likes Mario Kart, like I am also quite critical, and I do think that really this game should have had more tracks in it. I think, or at least better design tracks. I just don't think we're quite there with what Nintendo wants the game to be, or at least, like, I don't feel like it's quite where it needs to be, but I might be being quite harsh on it. I don't know. Honestly, I just think what you've got here is a game that has a ton of potential to be amazing, but it's not quite there yet. It's probably the best way for me to describe it. So, hopefully this has been, it's a bit rambly, I do apologize, but hopefully this has been something useful to people who are looking to get this game, who want to have an honest opinion on it. This is probably an 8 out of 10. I wouldn't put it any higher than that. Gameplay wise it's a 10, but anything because of everything else around it, I don't think it's like higher than that. I do think in the long run, when they add more tracks, when they add more costumes, when they add more stuff, the game will be worth that value. Right now I don't think it is. So if that's helpful, fantastic. Hopefully that's influence some purchasing for some people. Anyway, that's going to do it for me today then, guys. Thank you so much for watching as always. If you like the video, please hit the like button. If you want to see more content, then hit the subscribe button. And until next video, I will see you then.